Thrush Street. I'm not joking. Actually, Thrush Street. So I'm in, I'm up north, right? I'm in, where am I? Bingley, something like that. It is very, very, if you can see there, very, very much Yorkshire. Anyway, I'm actually at a metal fabricating plant getting some stuff done for me van. Don't ask. It's a long story. But I thought I'd chuck up a video now rather than wait until I get home. It was 5 hours up here. 5 hours. I think even longer actually. So I'm gonna have a little sit in the van while I'm waiting for them to fabricate me stuff. So I thought I'd do my little video now. Ouch! I just hit my head. Excuse me. Do my little video now. Have a chat about Tottenham. I did hear a funny thing actually. There's sunshine. See, there is sun. That is proof that there's sunshine up north. There was a funny thing from Ledley King actually about West Ham Tottenham, and King said that it was never traditionally a rivalry, and he was going on about that Tottenham's rivalry is with Tottenham's rivalry is with Arsenal. And I thought, do you know what? I don't think it is. They call us deluded and they make out like it's our cup final. But I've got to say, okay, it is a bit, and it's exciting, and you want to beat Tottenham. And if I'm honest, probably I'd rather beat Tottenham than any other team. But I don't think Arsenal are really their rivals. Arsenal are fighting it out with Liverpool. Arsenal are fighting it out with Man City. Arsenal are basically gunning for the league, no pun intended. And I think if you were to really ask, not like a die-hard Arsenal fan, but if you were to actually ask Mikel Arteta which London team is he most worried about, he probably wouldn't say Tottenham. He probably would say Chelsea. So I don't know. I think there is a bit of a rivalry there, and I think maybe Tottenham have got to reassess their own standing in things, because actually where West Ham have been competing in the last 2 or 3 years, not this year unfortunately, Europa League, Conference League, that's really what Tottenham are. I don't think Tottenham are really a Champions League team. I think sometimes they'll get into the Champions League. I think they'll do well sometimes. They'll flatter to deceive. But realistically, they are a team that's going to be looking at Europa, that's going to be looking at Conference League, that sort of thing. And listen, there's nothing wrong with that. So, yeah, I think there's been a lot of Tottenham fans saying that West Ham are deluded, but I think there's a certain amount, maybe we are, there's a certain amount of delusion with Tottenham as well. They're just not one of those top clubs. And for that reason, I do think we got half a chance tomorrow. I really do. So, as I said, I had a long drive up here yesterday, and I set off at sort of 5 in the morning or something absolutely silly. And Alan Brazil was on the radio. Alan Brazil and Gabby Agbonlahor. And they were talking about this, and they were talking like a must-win game. And they said basically Tottenham and West Ham are both in horrible form. I thought they made it sound more dramatic than it actually was, but probably both. Neither manager wants to lose this game, that's for sure. But I think possibly a draw might suit West Ham a lot more than it probably suits Ange Postecoglou, but only because I think there's a certain amount of sort of unfair pressure on him. But anyway, Neil Warnock, I don't know if you've listened to it on TalkSport. Neil Warnock came on the radio, and not literally, that'd be disgusting. Neil Warnock was introduced as a guest onto the radio, and I'll tell you what he said. He said, West Ham. He said, I hope West Ham. I wonder if West Ham are happy now with Lopetegui. Now they're losing every week. I'm not joking. The breakfast show yesterday, go and listen to it. That's what he said. For crikey, there's still this massive pro-Moyes agenda, which is actually an anti-Lopetegui agenda, really. And I think, moreover, probably an anti-West Ham fan agenda. So I think a lot of this is being hyped up for tomorrow, possibly to be slightly bigger than it actually is. I sort of got the impression that TalkSport in general wanted West Ham to lose this one so they could sort of lay the boot into entitled West Ham fans, unrealistic West Ham fans again. And I'm hoping we'll do all right. Obviously, I'm hoping we'll do all right. Alvarez is back, which is a good thing. The whole Paqueta situation is just weird, let's be honest. But it was interesting that the club yesterday started posting pictures on their social media and on the website of a very smiling, happy-looking Paqueta, and I can't remember exactly what they said. but it had a picture of him smiling. He was at the training ground. It was more or less suggesting that he was happy to be back, and I totally understand why they would do that, and I hope he is. But I'm going to stick with what I said with Gio in the preview, and that is that I probably wouldn't play him. I wouldn't start him, at least. You just don't know. Like, he might have arrived back from training smiling. He might have be in his bonnet about the FA, and now he's going to ask the FA to basically produce whatever evidence they've got as to who they leaked information to. And I don't blame him for doing that, but it's awfully distracting. He's quite within his rights to do that. And there's definitely somebody who leaked the information. Otherwise, there's no way we would know that the FA asked for a mobile phone a second time. There's no way we would know that they're gonna add 2 more charges. Then you started getting these very confident reports that the Football Association were confident and were going to go for a lifetime ban. Someone's leaking from the FA, right? So I do not blame Lucas Paqueta for going for that and for trying to find out exactly who's been leaking this sort of stuff. But it is distracting. He's got problems in Brazil now, and as Gio said when we did our video the other day, Brazil was his safe haven, wasn't it? And that was where he could go and everything was fine. He could escape basically all the scrutiny and of the betting investigation and everything like that. He's probably not feeling that now. I just wonder how much focus he's going to be able to put on the game. I don't think he can shut it out completely, because if he was able to do that, he would have been in better form, I think, for probably the last 12 months. So for that reason, I wouldn't start him. But I do think we were in with a good chance. And if you saw, I've sort of been stuck. Been stuck in the office of that factory there for a lot of yesterday, and I spent a lot of time basically watching YouTube footage and watching stuff about West Ham. I don't know if you saw the training ground little montage that they put out on the official club website, but again, Crescencio Somerville looks really good, looks to be impressing in training. And it's not just training. Whenever we see him, whenever he gets substituted on or whenever he starts, he looks good. So I'll just reiterate, I don't think I've changed my team, but I'll reiterate what I think my team is, which would be Areola, Obi-Wan-Bissaka, Jean-Claire Todibo, Max Kilman. Emerson did all right against Ipswich, didn't he? I'll go with Souček. I think he's undroppable. I know not everyone's cup of tea and not the most silky Pirlo-like player, but a big goal threat again. And I would drop Rodriguez, bring Alvarez back in, Bowen on the right, Kudus attacking midfield, Crescencio Somerville left wing, and Mikel Antonio up front. Got to be that, really, isn't it? Not ideal with Antonio, not ideal. And unless there's been some new update while I've been walking around Thrush Street, and Fulkrug is available, I don't know. Well, look, it's a conversation for another day. Hopefully we see him. Hopefully he appears on the bench. Even if he doesn't get on, at least we'll probably know then that he's on his way back to fitness. I know we're dealing with a fitness issue rather than an injury one. Anyway, I'm going to go back to Chlamydia Street or whatever it's called back there. I'll catch up with you tomorrow. Early kickoff, so myself and Jay will be live hour and 5 minutes before kickoff. And yeah, wish me a safe journey home later on. And yeah, see you in the morning.